Hello!
Hello!
So good to see you.
Good to see you too, Rishabh. How are you?
I'm doing good, and let me very, very formally welcome you to what we call is Kuch To Karuna.
क्या बात है?
But आपसे digitally मिलकर बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. Let me take this minute to introduce you. You need no introduction, but because this is going to be recorded and sent, so that is why let me take this minute to introduce somebody who I think is a phenomenal person. Is very candid. I don't think I have met anyone, and in the first 1 hour of my conversation, I everything that I asked you, I think you answered honestly and right from your heart. Thrilled, absolutely delighted to welcome Swara Auntie to Kuch To Karuna. No, I'm just joking.
I have lots of nicknames, and that one is the most polite. So
I'm
go for it.
Just speaking. I'm just trying to lighten it up. But thank you so much for taking our time. I'm going to go to my customary place and sit down.
I know. Even I'm gonna try and look for a stable place to put the phone, so that.
Oh, we have Kunal Kamra there. Hi, Kunal. I'm going to try to do as good a job as you do. But
I don't trust Kamra. I think I should just hold this. I don't trust what Kamra will say.
I'm pretty sure you wouldn't like his introduction as much. But let me ask you this $1 million question as we start. 14 अप्रैल को आपके हिसाब से क्या होने वाला है? What is
I hope 14 अप्रैल को at least 2 दिन के लिए लॉकडाउन खुल जाए, because I need to go to Delhi to my parents, and I haven't. I was not supposed to spend the lockdown in Bombay, where I currently am.
Right.
And मुझे जाना था दिल्ली अपने माँ बाप के पास. I'm from Delhi.
Correct.
But मुझे लगा नहीं था कि लॉकडाउन इतनी जल्दी हो जाएगा, कि हमें I didn't realize. I thought कि 2-3 दिन का टाइम मिलेगा, कि announcement होगा, it will be 3-4 days later. So I was totally caught off guard, and then of course I had no choice. I mean, everyone had no choice. But then I'm here with my 3 cats and 1 dog. And,
but आपने अभी भी आंसर नहीं किया. What is happening on 14th April? I'll give you a hint. 22nd March को there was a sound check. On today we are having a lights check.
Yeah.
On 14th April.
14th April, you think?
There is a full-fledged concert that is happening, Swara. I'm disappointed that you didn't know.
I feel scared to answer that question.
I think if you are scared, then the people who are on the other side should be even more petrified.
मैं सुधर गई हूँ. But I think we are going through all the stages of, we had a dance party on 22nd. Today we have Diwali, and आप choose कर लो. Holi? 14th को Holi?
No, but tell me the first part of what we do is called Life in the Times of Corona. So, आप बताइए what is the normal day in your life look like, with the first and the most important question, very important question, very serious. Idli ya poha? What would you prefer, and what do you start your day with?
So I unfortunately start my day with neither, though I love both of them. Idli more, but I start my day with black coffee and anda. But even before that, I start my day with cat food and dog food, because the first task of the morning is to wake up and is to feed the various animals, is to walk my dog, is to make sure that they're all, doing.
Are you one of those lucky? Are you one of those lucky people who've got the pet feeders pass?
No. What is that?
The pass that allows you to go and feed pets.
Outside stray pets?
Yeah.
I have 4 stray animals in my house. They're all rescue animals. They are absolute handful. So no, I'm not leaving my building premises much at all. But I am so that the animals, I'm very lucky because my house help and cook come Man Friday is with me, Vikesh Bhaiya. So he is taking care of all the khana and most of the work. My jobs are only to wash the clothes, to clean the pet litter, and to clean the dog's jobs and to water the plants. That's my job. And
you're
I'm
in
very
South
privileged.
Bombay. You're in South Bombay. Life is very difficult. From eight people who usually take care of us, now there are only 2 left.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this virus has been a real leveler, you know, in terms of I think that on the positive side, it's so important to have actually had this. I mean, it would have been good if it was not a pandemic that was killing people, but it's nice to be able to take a moment and, you know, kind of recognize the kind of work people do to take care of us and to make our lives easier. तो वो अच्छी बात है.
No, absolutely. And आपने बताया नहीं तो आप once your daily chores are over, once you finish with your day job of taking care of the pets, then how do you spend the rest of your day?
Instagram. I'm only looking at what other people are doing. I'm doing no work. I don't know how are people having productive lockdowns, and like you, I can see are making very good use of the lockdown. But I have only been sitting on Instagram and stalking other people and seeing what they're doing. I'm eating a lot, considering especially as I'm an actress and I should remember that I have a career to go back to. But carbohydrates is a new thing in my life that I normally didn't have. Now given myself the excuse कि lockdown है तो मैं कुछ भी खा सकती हूँ. तो मैं काफी सारे snacking कर रही हूँ. मैं अपने जानवरों के साथ खेल रही हूँ. मैं Instagram कर रही हूँ. Rishabh, I just want to say somebody has just said Rishabh gives us a lot of work. आपकी पोल खुल रही है Instagram chat में मेरे अलावा. प्रभात और अभिषेक ने आपका सच बता दिया है.
These are all lies. These are basically people who have told to come and watch at 7 p.m. and now they're taking revenge on me, saying that I give them a lot of work. But the reason why I'm optimizing this lockdown, if I may, is because every time I participate in a household show, whichever one it is, I'm so dreadful and damaging that people rather have me do everything but participate in household duties.
They're just like, do raho. You're not helping. You're that child. This is how we were बचपन में. मेरा parents would be like, please हाथ मत लगाओ, जाओ.
Listen, I think मेरा बचपन अभी भी चल रहा है तो चलेगा. No, but so tell me this. आपने बताया that you spend the day just like everybody else, just like all of us. So I'm sure you're doing a lot of binge watching and binge eating.
I'm doing a lot of binge eating. I'm trying not to do as much binge watching because मेरा problem ये है कि एक बार मैं कुछ देखना शुरू करती हूँ फिर वो 3 दिन उसी में निकल जाते हैं. Because then the whole night I'm just sitting and watching sitting and watching these shows. But I'm actually a little behind on it because I don't normally watch a lot of shows. So the last thing that I watched, which actually was pretty cool, was Killing Eve. And I sat and just watched both seasons of that. Season 1 was way better. And
it's called Killing Eve.
Killing Eve, yeah.
So what happens to Adam?
Adam is already disposed of before the show starts.
Ari Baba, now the feminism is coming out.
Guys, I'm a very, I have to say that I'm actually a very flexible feminist here. I'm not hardcore. I just seem hardcore.
कभी-कभी आप speech देते हो तो that time when you come on national television you're giving those speeches, that time quite honestly I pause to just watch, saying the amount of like the energy and the fervor in the speech is so much. But I'll believe you that you're not a hardcore.
I think what happens in those kind of speeches, which is something I've only discovered recently, is that I end up I think the crowd kind of drives you to kind of become more like chalo nikalo talwar than you necessarily meant to be. But it's fun things. Guys, thank you for all the love and for the little bit of a hate. Somebody asked me a question. Who is MB_140802 said, who's better, Shashi Tharoor or Tanmay Bhatt? Well, I think that Shashi Tharoor would definitely make a great stand-up comic. I'm not so sure about what Tanmay Bhatt would do in politics. I don't trust Tanmay.
No, but Shashi Tharoor absolutely floored everyone when he came for that stand-up.
He was great. He was so good. He was amazing.
No, I keep mentioning it to him, saying that he should do much more of those.
Yeah.
An entire nation, and like he mentioned, politicians sometimes have the notorious reputation of making people laugh unintentionally.
Yeah.
He happened to be the first politician who actually intentionally made people laugh.
Yeah. He's so good.
But tell me before we take more questions, tell me, a 16 and an 18-year-old who's going to essentially watch this, and many who I have compelled, like that boy who wrote, saying Rishabh gives a lot of work.
Rishabh, if you have to force people to come to this, that's very scary for me.
No, I haven't, Baba. I haven't. I've voluntarily told them, and so very many of them agreed to join. But the point being a 16 and an 18-year-old, when they're sitting at home, there's only as much that you can do on Insta. I'm sure you do a lot of it. It looks like you do a lot of reading from the bookshelf behind.
Yeah, that's still my to read list. That is, yeah, I still have to.
All those books combined is as much as I've read in my life.
I don't believe that.
No, but so ab bataiye, if for a 16, 18-year-old who's sitting at home, what is it that you'd recommend him or her to read?
I would say challenge yourself. I think that this is a good time to do that. I think that I read A Suitable Boy by Vikram Seth, which is a fat ass book. It's like 1200 pages when I was 15 or 16 in my summer vacation. So I think just treat this as your summer vacation. Pick up each book that you guys choose to pick up, treat it like a challenge, and just really get through it. A Suitable Boy is a great read, and it just tells you so much about our country and the nature of our country. Suitable Boy by Vikram Seth. Lovely book.
You said 1200 pages and you were 15. So you were basically reading it along with your class 10 examinations going on.
No, but
so after
the board exam, right? Or the summer of the 10th. The 10th board exam happens in March. So you get a summer vacation in this thing, right?
So you were not tired of reading the textbooks that you chose to read beyond the textbook, and then you started reading all of this.
But fiction and stories are not textbooks. I was actually always a very happy reader. I really enjoyed literature. So I would highly recommend A Suitable Boy. I would also recommend it for all the uninitiated 18-year-olds, especially Manto, if you read Hindi or Urdu. But he's also available in translation. A great short story writer. And I would recommend. Let's see now. What else?
There's this very interesting book. Have you read this interesting book called An Open Mic?
No.
No, you haven't.
Have you written it?
Yeah. I'm just joking, but go on. Sorry, you were saying. Yeah, that's my boring book which I wrote, which I'm sure no one's read. But please, you were giving recommendations of some fabulous books. I also classify myself as a voracious reader, but the only thing that I've managed to read is Harry Potter.
Well, Harry Potter is great. Harry Potter is such a. I went to Edinburgh last year, and I went to the cafe where J.K. Rowling sat and wrote Harry Potter, and it's a great story because she was broke, and she would sit on this one table, and she could just afford that one cup of coffee or hot chocolate or whatever she was drinking a day, and yeah.
Listen, now you're making me jealous. You were sitting exactly where
I sat on that table.
Now this is a bad idea. Now this
I
is
know.
a bad
I
idea.
hadn't met you. I had not met you. I had not run into you at the airport at that point.
Very true. Very, very true. Otherwise, I would have not forgiven you for not having told me. Because this is it's a magical world. She's made an entirely new world.
Yeah.
Some element of that world that you'd like to bring into our real world. Some element of Harry Potter that you'd like to bring into
some magic. I think our world needs a little bit of magic, don't you think? I've
It does.
actually sat I have sat and I have read Enid Blyton. This is my comfort reading in these days. Every time I feel anxious or stressed, I just pick up one more. Like I've read all the Faraway Tree books. I'm reading Mallory Tars right now. I finished St. Clair's, the whichever ones that I had. So that's my comfort reading. So I think that all of us need a little magic at this point.
But tell me, the one thing that you'd like to tell a 16 or an 18-year-old or a 15-year-old, a teenager basically, who's sitting at home. This is, of course, early summer vacation, but summer vacation has so much of fun and games. Now, the only fun and games are restricted to online. They're restricted to digital. And there's only 11 hours of screen time that I can spend on Instagram. Beyond the 11th hour, there's little that I can do. So what is it that you tell a teenager who's watching you right now?
I mean, I would say that I would really say that this is actually. I mean, of course, we have the access to being online and on the internet, which is really great, and we're very lucky to have that. So, firstly, gratitude for that. But I would say that actually do restrict how much time you spend online, because this is actually really a good time to also just spend some time with yourself, spend some time with your near and dear ones. This is a good time to appreciate our privileges, the blessings we have. Because I think that the one thing that this has shown us is that I think we should all admit that all of us जो अपने घरों में हैं, we're so lucky to be in a safe place. I mean, I know it's boring and it's irritating and so on, but like there are people who are in shelter camps right now because they could not get back to their houses. So I think spare a moment for that. I think that again, reading is a great idea. Any of you who are inclined to writing, that is a great time to do that. Can I take a chai break? Please, chai dena, please.
हाँ, बिल्कुल.
See,
this is not
student.
some formal interview, Baba.
I'm just a good student. I take permission. Ma'am, bathroom जाना है. Ma'am, chai पीना है. And I think that so write if you can, and I would say really spend some time. Sorry,
you were one of the children. You were one of the students who sat on the first bench. No, the teacher's pet who used to raise their hand and say, "Ma'am, please, mujhe." Correct, na?
Not first bench, but yeah, third, fourth bench. But I was a well liked student. I was a prefect in my school. We used to call it the students executive. I was a decent student. Yeah. But I was one of those, I also got caught doing all kinds of random things. Like once I was on the ground floor, like a class on the ground floor, I was caught by the principal. Like I jumped out of the window, and as I landed, the principal was standing there. And I was like, hello, sir. And he was like, I assume that it is a great emergency that has caused you to leave the classroom via the window and not by the door. And I was like, it was so stupid. There was no reason. I don't know why. I just did it out of excitement. And then I was just like, sir, bathroom jana hai bahut zor se. And he was like, get out of here. And then I spent 5 minutes in the bathroom just like waiting. Has he left? So yeah, I would do all kinds of silly things like that.
Listen, if you got away with stuff like that, this is ridiculously easy. I wish I was in your school.
I was a charming kid. I was like, you know, the friend, the teachers, and yeah, I don't think I was, maybe a few teachers didn't like me. I was terrible at math and science though.
You were terrible at 2 subjects.
Yeah. I
was terrible at school. So
I don't believe that.
No, I was this plump, round, fat kid who could barely speak in school. So I'm making up for all the lost time of not speaking, and now starting to trouble people like you. But let me.
Now you've become a lecturer as well, haven't you?
Yeah, a lecturer who, and you saw the comment, right? You saw the comment that Rishabh sir gives us a lot of work. It could easily be classified as homework.
Yeah.
But let me take you to an important question. What, according to you, yesterday we had Ali Zafar coming online, and he joined us in from Pakistan. And I told him the FIFA is going to put us in a lot of trouble but coronavirus and pandemics such as these give us the opportunity to understand that there's so many things that bind the human race, and we live technically in a world without borders. I'm a proud Indian as well, but at the same point in time, it is imperative that in times such as these, that we come together. To fans who would be seeing you from different parts of the world and to whom this will go and reach, what is that one message? Because there are so many extreme elements across the world who, even in times such as these, do not believe that we need to come together. I completely disagree. Your thoughts, and what would you like to tell them?
I mean, I think that as I said earlier, that we would never have thought that it would be a pandemic that would bring the world together in this manner. But it is a good time to remember our fundamental unity as a human race, and to be reminded of the fact, as you said, that at the end of the day, a health hazard or a pandemic or a crisis of this kind, it doesn't recognize borders and nationalities and race and religion and caste and creed. We're all affected by it. And if nothing else, this crisis should teach us to believe in that unity of our race as human beings and as living beings, because, you know, I mean, animals are suffering as well, right? So I think that, as I said, that also a time for learning, also time for introspection, and completely agree with you that the people who are using this time to fuel more hatred and to fuel more division are actually, I mean, I think that there can be no lower form of engagement and behavior than that at this point. And I think that there was a very strong statement today, right? I think or yesterday by the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray, who's and you know, the government of Maharashtra is doing some great work, but I think that he, you know, called it out very well, and he said that this is a crisis and there are still people who are spreading a communal virus along with the coronavirus, and he sort of gave a very strong statement against it, which was very nice to see. So I think that absolutely we're all in this together. We're in this to get together as the world. And I think that this is one crisis where it's so important that we all have to play our part. You know, the whole act of staying at home, it's so important, because in our staying at home, we are protecting God knows how many other people. So it's almost that we have a moral responsibility to, you know, be committed and be responsible at this time. So no, I think that's great.
Divided we stand, united we fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is what essentially it is. No, I don't speak as articulately as you, but I pick up from the different speeches that different people give. So then again, but let me take you to a lighter subject. Let me take you to something that you are more familiar with in your domain of expertise, Indian cinema. And the fraternity has come out very strongly. Your fraternity has come out very strongly in terms of fighting coronavirus. You know, a lot of them unanimously, all of them have said the same thing: please stay at home, please stay safe. Yeah. But there are yet I do feel that I personally feel that with the voices that Indian cinema has, with the reach that they have, with the voice that they have, do you think that they could have done a little more, or do you think that this is justified in, I mean, the amount that they've done?
Well, like, how do you mean?
Like, say, for example...
Sorry, I'm trying to... Go ahead.
No, that's all right. As long as you're not disconnecting me already. I thought, am I treading on dangerous water that you already... that should I have not asked that question? No,
I was not at all. You can ask me anything, huh?
But what I was asking you is that, you know, sometimes tokenism and like, you know, putting up things for the sake of it, and not actually fundamentally believing in it and making it into a PR exercise is something that Bollywood or cinema just generally is accused of. And not just cinema, but I think people from all walks of life have been accused of. So just generally, do you think people, and more specifically when it comes to Indian cinema, can people do more? Because there are young people who also want to do more, but do not know what to do. I'm pretty sure there will be friends of yours who would also want to contribute much more, contributing, but do you have ideas that people can contribute a little more to what is happening out there, or do you think the best way to go about this is divided we stand, united we fight?
So I actually have a slightly nuanced position on this. I mean, firstly, I think that a lot of Bollywood celebrities have, apart from giving messages on their social media handles, they've also actually contributed money and committed to contributing money to various donation funds. A lot of people.
I didn't want to directly. Sorry to interrupt, but I didn't want to directly say that. But that's exactly what I'm saying. That there have been some, very few, who've gone on to donate.
I think that, so two things here for me. One is that I don't think that it's possible for people to have donated and not made a PR hullabaloo about it. It's possible that people are giving money to organizations and are not posting about it. I think that possibility always exists. The second thing, however, and I do want to say this, and this is a risky thing to say, because I can already see a comment that says I'm a wicked communist. I may be wicked, Anadi 18, but I'm definitely not a communist. So I'm okay to take half of your comment. I'm okay to be wicked. I don't think the communists would consider me a communist at all. But
if you shouted this much, if you shouted this much in China or Russia, you would have been it would have been a different thing altogether.
I would have been in jail. I would have been, actually, I would not even, we would not know where I'd been. But I think that as far as charity goes, I don't think it is okay for a nation's response to a health pandemic like Corona to be that the wealthy will give charity. That can't be the strategy of a country. You can't depend on the charity of the wealthy. Our primary responsibility as citizens, as wealthy citizens, is to pay taxes.
Relatively wealthy.
Relatively wealthy citizens is to pay, and wealthy citizens is to pay taxes. And India is decently taxed. We're not amongst the highest tax countries in the world, but we're decently taxed. I would like to ask why at a time when we have a health pandemic, are we buying weapons from Israel? Why is it that our defense budget can't be, surely there is other ways to deal with it. And this is not to say that people should not donate. Don't get me wrong. People should donate. People should do their bit. People should do whatever they can do. But that's not what we can depend on as a nation. We have to have a different strategy, whether that means making sure that manufacturers are allowed to manufacture PPE, whether it means that distributors are allowed to distribute those kits to doctors, whether it means that spending is tweaked, maybe. I think this is a good time to talk about why is our health budget so low. I think this is a great time to talk about many things like that. As far as what as citizens we can do, I think that if you firstly stay home, that's actually the biggest thing we can do. Stay home, don't congregate for religious functions, whether it's the Tablighi, what we saw with the Tablighi Markaz, or whether it's what we saw on Ram Navami. Don't, when our leaders ask us to do symbolic gestures, don't turn that into a dance party on the streets. I mean, I'm saying basic stuff like that goes a very long way. Donate where you can. But if you can't donate, and if you don't have the resources to donate, I don't think you should feel guilty about that. There's still other things you can do. You can educate people by educating yourself and not spreading fake news and superstitions and things like that. So I think, sorry, go on.
No, I'm saying you spoke about donations. IIMUN is, at this juncture, I will take a second and say IIMUN is accepting all donations. No, I'm joking. But organizations are working really hard, some on ground, who actually need the funding.
Yeah.
Therefore, what
no, they are. They absolutely are, and we should definitely help them. But there's smaller things you can do. I mean, there's smaller kind of things you can do. I mean, do you see, look across your road, do you see a somebody on the street who is in need of something, you can share lunch with them one day. Do you know a neighbor who is? Do you know a neighbor who's struggling and is alone? Sorry.
When I look across the street, sorry again to interrupt, but when I look across the street, all that I see is nobody. So
that's because you live in South Bombay.
No, but yeah.
I've looked across. You know, we have me and my help Vikesh. We have. We have.
Where is your chai? Where is your chai? You were going to have chai. Now I'm feeling bad. I mean, please have your chai. We can have this chacha over chai. Guys. We can have this chacha over chai as well.
Chai ke chacha. That's not my domain. Yeah. So I think that you know, Vikesh started a very sweet gesture that we have here, which is that all the guards in our building who can't go back to their houses and they're all staying here. I was chatting with them about, you know, what they do for lunch and dinner, and they said, oh, you know, we've managed, we have a gas and we cook, but we don't get tea. So now once a day, Vikesh goes and gives them tea in the evenings and biscuits. It's a very small thing, but you know, why not? So that's what I'm saying, that everything doesn't have to be a PR gesture. Everything doesn't have to be a, guys, I have to just give a shout out to Gary Dean Taylor, who is an amazing photographer that I've shot with recently and a wonderful human being. So yeah, I think that's what I would say. I don't believe in this culture of shaming people who have not donated or are unable to donate. I think that's a very limited kind of a view on how societies must operate.
Well, that's very true. If Gary is watching,
but that said, kudos to everyone who's donating. Kudos to the Aziz Premjis and the Ambanis and the Adanis and the all the actors who are donating. There's other things people are doing. Shah Rukh sir has opened up his office for being used as a quarantine space. So I think that if we drop our judgment for a bit, we'll be able to see that people are actually doing whatever they can do.
I don't judge people. No, I was just simply asking what more.
No, not you. I'm just saying generally, because it's a discourse on social media. I see it a lot on.
This is only friendly banter, nothing else. But if Gary is watching, you click some wonderful photographs of Swara and she thanked you. If you're ever free and want an assignment, please do not contact me, because whatever you do, you will not be able to take a good picture. I am not at all photogenic. But no, the reason why. Sorry, you were saying something?
I was saying don't fish.
No, but let me come to the last part of what I wanted to ask you before we open it up to a couple of questions. It's a 21-day lockdown, and the 21-day lockdown, we have 21 questions that we've prepared for you. But I won't ask you all the 21. They're very simple questions.
Okay. Are they one-word answers?
Yeah, one-word answers. Very simple, and I'll ask you a few only. Cinema or politics?
Cinema.
Activism.
Political cinema.
I'm sorry?
Political cinema.
Activism or public life?
Public life. But activism is public life as well, right?
Not necessarily, but public life more like politics. Yeah, like as a full-fledged politician. Listen, you're having the chai without the Parle G biscuit. Are you looking for the Parle G on the right?
I have no Parle G. This is like a jail. I get like ration food from Vikesh. Whatever Vikesh gives me, I eat. I think that whatever I do will have an element of activism in it always, because that's just the person I am. So
lovely. Your favorite film up until now that you've ever watched?
Lots, but in Hindi, Amar Akbar Antony, and in English, Casablanca.
Your favorite actor in Hollywood?
I'm going to use that as gender neutral and say Julia Roberts and Meryl Streep.
Wow. Julia Roberts is one of my favorites, and I cannot but re-emphasize what she did. She made this documentary, and I'm re-emphasizing this on the chat for the second time, but I did that earlier also with somebody else. She's made this wonderful documentary on what's happened with this lockdown, where when nature has gotten a chance in order to undo the damage that we have done over so many years, and where it says
Right.
that, you know, how before we were there was nature, and after we will go, there will yet be nature. So how we must preserve and respect Mother Nature. It's a wonderful thing. If you like Julia Roberts, you must see it.
I'll watch it.
But then again, coming to Bollywood, who's your favorite actor, gender neutral?
I'm sorry, this is a question that I can never answer in any sort of other way or in any objective way, but I'm a Shah Rukh fan, and I have been a Shah Rukh fan for forever, so I will have to go with Shah Rukh Khan.
I think 90%, 99% of the industry, 99.99% of the industry minus Shah Rukh sir himself are all fans. So
Yeah, true.
But then again, tell me, Indian or Italian, which is your favorite cuisine? I know you said
Indian.
Indian.
Yeah.
And
More choices. India has so many other things that you can eat. And
North,
it's home food.
North Indian, South Indian.
Listen, my dad is South Indian, my mom is North Indian. I get to eat both. So
You're the lucky one. Gets the best of both worlds.
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this last question before I take questions from everybody else. If you were not an actor, and if you were not a social activist, and if you were not going to join public life, what would you be? What profession would you be? You'd be a teacher.
I'd be a teacher. I'd be teaching either literature or history.
Great. Both subjects which are difficult to comprehend for a lot of people such as myself. And I can totally imagine you as,
both lovely subjects if you like stories.
I can totally imagine you as a very strict teacher who would be yelling at students saying, "Don't do that."
No, I'd be chill.
Sorry?
No. I would be a democratic teacher, but yeah, I would be like, you gotta do. I'd be like, I would have no problems failing people. I'd be like, do what you want to do, but I'm gonna be like grading you at the end of the semester.
No, but like you said, you are pretty much a democratic teacher, and a democratic person stands much for the secular fabric that our country is. But let me take at that juncture questions from the audience. With your permission, a couple of questions that I can take.
Yeah, sure. Guys, ask questions. गाली बाद में दे देना. मेरे उस पे आके गाली दे देना.
I think gali nahi de rahe, they're praising you. But ma'am, do you have any plans of coming into politics?
Wow. Not in the near future, at least. No.
Why so? I thought everything is going in that direction.
No, don't say that. I hope, because I feel like I have a couple of years more as an actor. I love acting. It really is my passion. And yeah, so not for now.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Which book are you reading now?
Oh, it was right here. I think it's in the other room. I'm reading a book called The Architecture of Happiness by Alain de Botton. I don't know how to pronounce the name. A French, like a French philosopher. It's sweet.
A French philosopher.
But very pop philosophy, like pop, not hard. Easy philosophy.
Because French philosophy to a lot of us would seem like Greek, Spanish, and Latin. Philosophy, Indian philosophy is what we try to first understand.
Mahi Ways has said, define yourself in one word. Impulsive. Shreya Satish, the best career experience so far. Anarkali Avara and Nilbare Sanada, preparing and shooting for those. And may I also have two more? Acting with Farooq Sheikh and being directed by Shyam Benegal.
Lovely, lovely. Now this is a question.
Would you like to participate in MUN like a regular person and not a celeb? LOL. You mean, would I like to be given work by... Is this your thing? Is this your organization? Yeah, would I like to be given work like Rishabh gives everyone else? Yeah, sure. Sure. I'd like to see what Rishabh is like in real life.
Oh my God. if I would start giving you work, then automatically I'm sure when you would give a response back, and if you give the response back like you give on television and in your speeches, I'd be petrified and run away.
Okay, shut up, guys. That is not the real me. Describe Salman Khan in your own words.
In a word. Yeah.
In one word. Okay. I would say magnetic.
Lovely. Somebody's asking you, do you do yoga? Do you believe in yoga?
I believe in yoga, but I don't do it enough. And now my yoga classes have been suspended.
I'm sorry, I lost you there. We all lost you there. No, but let's take the last two questions. So anybody who has the last two questions, I'm happy to take it.
Wow.
How to discourage patriarchy and fight for a voice?
I think just keep at it every day. I think that there's a great, one of my favorite feminist slogans is a slogan that says that the personal is the political.
I think indirectly you're passing on. Are you passing on messages via these answers to me?
Not to you. To other people.
But let me, because there are so many of them that are coming, I'll take one last question from everyone. Anyone who wants to ask one last question from anyone. This is actually interesting because I want to know this myself. Which is your next upcoming movie?
Well, my next upcoming movie is actually something that I'm hopefully producing myself. It's a biopic of a con woman, and I actually have to spend this time finishing my script, like finishing the final draft of the script, which I am so late on that I cannot even begin to tell you. But I have 3 web series that are coming out this year. One is called Rasbhari, where I play a seductress. One is called Flesh, where I play a cop. And the third one is awaiting an official announcement, so I can't let you know that right now. But that is coming out in September as well.
How lovely.
You're going to see me a lot this year.
So we're going to see you a lot this year on screen, and hopefully sometime in an IIMUN conference soon. But Swara, it's
absolutely.
But I really appreciate you doing this. I know even in quarantine you have 1,000 things going on, and I really appreciate you having taken out time. I'm saying it is you are best described in your own words as a democratic teacher. I think that for me sums up pretty much who Swara Bhaskar is. So thank you, Swara, for taking out time and doing this. And you were saying something, and I'm sorry interrupted you. And I'm glad you didn't shout back.
Congratulations on the work that you're doing with IIMUN and the platform that you've created and the opportunity that you're giving to young people across the country. I think that dialogue and conversation are amongst the most precious aspects of learning and of any democratic society. And these are things we should hold on to and preserve, have the means. So really good job there.
Thank you so much. I let you finish it because it's the first time that somebody complimented me. So I was like, it's all right. We'll wait for 10 more seconds. But honestly, so for the last time, thank you so much, Swara Auntie. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Really enjoyed being here, guys. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Thank you, Swara. Thanks so much. Bye. Take care. Bye.